Noni sir, have you been using laser, sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm just planning because recently Meditronics people
Okay.
are they are behind me for this fistula and this one, and but I have no experience. That's why I joined today for this class,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for anorectal surgeries. They are claiming that it's very good.
Personally, I also have not used it. Still not
Yeah.
convinced about its long-term effects.
One fellow is there in Mumbai. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot his name. That clinic is very famous for this complex fistula and all bottom surgery. You know, he's known for this laser. He exclusively
Healing
uses it.
Healing Hands Clinic.
Huh?
Healing Hands Clinic, sir. He's from
Yeah,
Pune.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's from my
Pune.
college, parent college.
Correct, correct, correct. So that fellow he uses this laser. So these people they give free training also. Okay.
Uh,
So I
it's
would
kind of become
yes,
marketing this thing now. Patients
correct.
come asking for laser. It has
Yeah.
been marketed like you walk in and you walk out without any problem in few minutes, like that. Anyway,
And
we'll look into
when
the.
we were chairman, that time there was a workshop also in Gulbarga. They had a workshop also for this
Okay,
laser.
we'll start off with the class. Good evening,
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah, today Dr. Janani will be taking a class on principles of laser and its uses in general surgery. I'll request Janani to start off with the class.
So, good evening, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about basic principles of laser. So laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. The theoretic underpinnings were first described by Einstein in 1917, and it was recognized that laser held tremendous promise as highly targeted and therapeutic modality in future generation, with the limitations like cost, availability, and training. So laser creates energy in form of beam of light that interacts with target tissue to give the desired effect, and it is called laser tissue interaction. So light and other forms of electromagnetic energy composed of photons. Photons travel at speed of light in empty space. Wavelength is the distance between two successive crests of electromagnetic wave. So visible light in relatively small spectrum of electromagnetic radiation located between 390 nanometer and 700 nanometer. These are the wavelengths. So these are important here in laser because various medium that is we'll be discussing later will compose various wavelengths. These wavelengths are important in clinical application. So most of the clinically related lasers fall in visible light portion of electromagnetic spectrum. And the laser device composed of energy source and the optical resonator, and it also has medium that is called ruby, argon, or diode lasers, or the other Nd:YAG lasers. It is based on the medium. This is a medium which we call the laser. We'll name the laser according to the medium. So energy source is what is initially used to move the electrons into excited state, and optical resonator is the it is the resonator which possesses the medium within. So the energy source drives the electron into the medium to an excited state. So if electron that is already in excited state encounters the another photon, the chain reaction will be there. So we will be getting the continuous mode of laser. And here there will be certain variations by pausing the continuity of photons, and it is called as pulsed lasers. So
So hold
laser
on,
beam, sir.
Janani, just hold on. Go back. Why do you need that?
Yes, sir.
Go back one slide. Why do you need that energy source to stimulate it into an excited state? What will happen if it is not converted into that excited state?
Sir, photons will not be generated, so the medium will not get activated, sir. So
the medium
we'll
will
have,
not get activated, correct?
yes, sir.
What is that principle? On what is it based on?
Sir,
Anybody else?
Called stimulated emission.
Stability, to maintain the stability, the excited electrons have come back when they have gained charged, they will go into unstable state, sir. So to come back to the stable state, to come back to their original orbit, they have to emit photons. So that's why when they are excited, they will emit photons and come back to their stable state.
No, they come back into stable state. Why do you need that? What happens if, see, according to the law of thermal equilibrium, there are always more electrons in the lower energy states than in the upper ones if you don't stimulate. So when there are electrons which are in the lower energy state, rather than getting it excited, they absorb. Then so the probability of absorption of incoming photons is larger than making it to pass through. So that's why you need that excited state.
And that is called stimulated emission, sir.
Correct.
So there is spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. In that spontaneous emission, they occur at random intervals on their own. But stimulated emission, like here mentioned, they need the energy. So
So that's why, that is why
energy
laser is also a stimulated emission of radiation.
Yes, sir.
Light amplification by stimulated emission. So similar pathway with respect to microwaves is called as maser. It started off with microwaves, then it got into laser. Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, sir.
Ajit has a question. Inventor of laser.
Sir, the theoretic underpinning was given by Einstein, sir.
Einstein, and
Einstein, yes, sir.
also one more Indian you have to remember. His name is Satyendranath Bose.
Okay.
Okay, so basically he was the one who propagated the paper by Max Planck, who had done work on photons. So he combined with Einstein, and then Einstein took it forward. But ultimately, the lasers came into effect in when?
60.
1960, sir.
Correct.
But actually, sir, Theodore Maiman, they have credited him, sir.
Correct. He is the one first laser who constructed first laser in 1960.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
He used a ruby crystal.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, anybody else has any questions till now, sir? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Continue.
So the laser beam is the light, the light that is resulting from the all these emission of photon. The incandescent light is will be polychromic and it is divergent, but our laser light is collimated, coherent, and monochromatic. So monochromatic means the photons that all have same wavelength. Everything will have same wavelength. But in case of our incandescent light, there will be different wavelengths. So the emission will be in different forms. And coherent means the all waves are in phase. That is, they are parallel to each other, and according to space and time, they all will travel together. And collimated is the all photons are parallel to each other. So the high energy density laser beam, which is collimated, will be densely packed in small volume. And laser tissue interaction is when the laser contracts tissue, they may end up with absorption, reflection, scattering, and transmission. Absorption is conversion of energy into heat. And while the laser is striking the skin, the 5% of it will get reflected. So safety goggles is essential for healthcare workers and also the people who are assisting the procedure. And the scattering light, the scattering means the light gets scattered when it enters the stratum corneum by interacting with the small particles within the skin. So it leads to spatial distribution of the light. And transmission means the transmitted light travel to the deeper tissue beyond the target tissue also. So safety is essential during handling the laser procedures. So while transmission, the transfer of energy to chromophore. Chromophores are water content, hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, that is present in human body. So they lead to various transmissions like chemical reaction, mechanical, that is also called photoacoustic reaction or photothermal reactions. This photoacoustic reactions or reaction is commonly used in urological procedures, and this photothermal reaction is commonly used in skin dermatological procedures. We'll be going in detail when we come to the specific procedures.
Janani, Noli
Sir?
sir has a question.
Yes, sir.
Spatial distribution of light.
Yes, sir. So that is scattering of when the laser is striking the skin, when it enters the stratum corneum layer, due to when it is striking the other particles while entering, it will get distributed like evenly distributed throughout the tissues, sir. So not only the target tissue, but also the surrounding tissues will be involved during this laser. That is what I understood, sir.
Noli sir?
Sir, I don't know, sir. I don't know. I just wanted, out of curiosity, I asked what exactly you mean by spatial distribution of light.
Yes, sir. So the target tissue will, it is not the only one that will be affected by this laser, but also the surrounding tissues, sir.
Correct.
So we'll have to be careful while using this, and it will also cause uneven surfacing of the skin if the dry or scaly skin is exposed. So always we should use the lasers with precaution. That is what it is given, sir, in various articles.
Okay, correct.
And also we should use proper goggles, the laser protective goggles. All the healthcare workers who are using laser we should use certain guidelines. I'll be discussing about them later, sir.
Okay, continue.
Yes, sir. So the variables considered when selecting therapeutic laser are the appropriate wavelength, power density that will be described in joules, and pulse width, that is the duration of the pulse. There are various pulse width, that is various types of lasers like Q-switch lasers, pico lasers, and long pulse lasers. Q-switch lasers will use nanoseconds. Here picoseconds are used to pulse the laser, pulse the timing of lasers. And mode of delivery, it can be continuous or pulse. And spot size, it corresponds to the penetration depth of the penetration to the depth of the tissues. So the laser effect on epidermis can be ablative or non-ablative. The fractional lasers treat only a portion of tissue that will thermally injure. It will either thermally injure or destroy the tissue. So the thermal injury is called non-ablative fractional lasers, and ablative fractional lasers will destroy the entire column of tissue. So the laser targeting deeper tissue generally generates significant heat. Heat can contribute to blisters, scarring, and hyperpigmentation.
So basically, what are the uses? How do you differentiate different types of lasers?
Sir, that is what the continuous lasers, pulse lasers are there.
No. Not about the type of a pulsed wave or continuous wave. I'm talking about lasers.
Yes,
you use it for, you said, different various things. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what are they broadly like? What are the uses in medicine broadly?
Sir, it is used in general surgical practices for perianal surgeries.
No.
And,
I'm not talking about specifics of any surgery.
Yes, sir.
Basic mechanism. One is to cut.
Sir, yes, sir.
Cut and achieve coagulation. Cut and coagulate
yes,
into deeper tissues.
Yes, sir.
Second one is to vaporize.
Vaporize, yes, sir.
Hemostasis also.
That is what cut and
Here it
coagulation.
is, yes, sir.
Hemostasis.
Yes,
And
sir.
another one is to vaporize. The third
Okay, sir.
use is to get an insight into deeper structures
Yes,
using
sir.
optic fibers.
Optic fibers, yes, sir.
Okay. Continue.
So yes, sir. So as sir said, the various uses will be according to the temperature that is generated by the laser. So more than 100 degrees Celsius, it will cause ablation, and more than 60 degrees Celsius, it will cause coagulation, and less than 5 degrees Celsius, reversible damage. Only vasodilation and inflammatory pathways will be activated if the temperature is less than 5 degrees Celsius. So the grade and rapidity of tissue damage depend on amount of energy released, application time, and vascularization and water content of the body tissue that is exposed. So
One
pulse,
second,
yes sir,
there is a question by Dr. Pawan.
yes sir.
Which was the first medical laser used? Why is it obsolete now? What is selective photothermolysis?
No sir.
Anybody else?
First one, as we discussed, it was ruby laser, right?
Huh?
Ruby.
Pawan?
The first medical use was the argon laser, not the ruby laser. Nowadays, it is continuously absolute because it has formed a continuous wavelength. It has got a continuous wavelength which causes more scarring compared to any other wavelength. So nowadays they are not using that.
Okay,
And the
sir.
second question?
Selective photothermolysis is nothing but an cutting or coagulating the tissue, which is only selective, which will not destroy the normal surrounding.
Yes, we can use that in port wine stain, sir. That port wine stain is there on the face here.
Yeah.
Or scars, is it, Pawan?
Yes, sir.
What is the other example for it? Scars.
No,
Scars.
sir. Anything which is more specific, like a mole removal, where you don't
Mole
want
removal,
to damage the surrounding skin, which will cause
Microsurgery.
more. Yeah, mainly microsurgical aspect.
Okay.
Yes sir. Shall I continue, sir?
Yes.
So pulse laser delivery include use of mechanical shutter in case of pulse laser or resonance chamber in case of Q switch and pico lasers. So in Q switch laser, there is something called the continuously photons will be emitted and energy will be generated, but there will be a loss mechanism and gain mechanism. At the time of once the gain mechanism has reached its full, the loss mechanism will be switched on, so that there will be a gap between the high frequency energy delivery and there will be timing of 2 or 3 seconds in between. That is the cooling time, so that it will prevent necrosis of the particular tissue that is exposed to the laser. Similarly, pico lasers, picoseconds of timing will be there between two high energy application. So delivery of these high energies occur over a short period of time. The mechanism of destruction of tissue in Q switch and pico lasers is predominantly photoacoustic in nature.
That is pulse laser.
Yes, sir. Pulse laser. Pulse
What is
laser,
that?
as that is, yes, sir. Pulse laser is divided into 3 or 4 types.
Correct.
Yes, sir. They are.
What do you mean by photoacoustic?
Sir, what I understood was it is a high energy that is used for breaking the heavy thing like stone or this thing, sir.
No. What do you mean by that photoacoustic? Anybody else?
Sir, the intensity of light will cause a localized area of, it will cause that area to vaporize, and that vaporization will cause sudden expansion of that particular region.
No. That is correct. What you are telling is correct. But what
Yes,
is
sir.
photoacoustic?
Acoustic means some sound. That's
That sound.
Conversion of light energy into sound energy.
Sound energy.
Okay.
Narrow space. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Continue.
So there is one more mechanism, fractionation of beam. So this reduces the risk of hypo or hyperpigmentation while we use in dermatological procedures. So instead of 100% skin target area, it emits high energy beams in various columns. So these are the various columns. In between will be the unexposed areas of the skin. So this healthy undamaged tissue will act as reservoir for wound healing and desired tissue response. This is indicated in treating photoaging, hyperpigmentation, and retinitis is it is the prior stage to the wrinkling. Like wrinkles, the superficial wrinkles are called retinitis, and this scar and the excessive scarring can also be we can use fractionation of beam in to treat scarring also. So these are the different lasers as we discussed earlier. And coming to clinical applications.
Go back and show it to
Yes,
them.
sir. So pulse laser uses milliseconds. We have Q switch lasers that uses nanoseconds, and also picosecond laser, that is pico lasers, are also there.
Okay.
So lasers target.
Sir has a question. Rhytides. What do you mean
Yes,
by
sir.
rhytides?
Sir, that's what, sir. Wrinkles, sir. That some people in younger age will have multiple wrinkles. The superficial wrinkles are called rhytides, sir.
Pawan, is it right? Cosmetic surgery.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the exact aging wrinkles will be very deep. In younger people, sometimes multiple wrinkles will be there. That is called rhytides. Yes, sir. Can I go ahead, sir?
Yeah.
So the lasers targets main chromophores like water, melanin, hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, and fat. So if water is our target, that is the target of choice for textural changes, wrinkles, and correction of skin laxity. So we use fractional and non-fractional erbium laser. The wavelength is usually 2940. This is the advised wavelength that could be used for these procedures. And for melanin is a primary chromophore for treatment of pigmented lesions like melasma, age spots, and post-inflammatory pigmentations. We use potassium titanyl phosphate lasers, Nd:YAG lasers, PICO or Ruby, and lead and intense pulse lasers here.
What is Nd:YAG full form?
Sir?
What
So
is
this is neodymium doped yttrium aluminum garnet laser, sir.
Oh.
Neodymium doped. Yes, sir.
Most often used in ophthalmic surgeries.
Yes, sir, ophthalmic surgeries.
Yeah.
So in cases of vascular lesions, we use KTP, Q switch, PICO, or intense pulse lasers, and also long pulse lasers. For minimally invasive lipolysis devices, lipolysis procedures, we use lasers with 900 to 1500 nanometer wavelength, which helps in removal of submental and neck fat. Sir, any questions, sir, till here?
Sir, Noli, sir?
Rhytides and wrinkles are not same.
Yes, sir.
They are not same. Dr. Pawan should tell us what exactly the difference between rhytides and wrinkles. Pawan?
Pawan?
What they say is rhytides
Hello,
is
sir.
the early
Pawan.
stage of wrinkles.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Pawan.
Yes, sir.
Sir, rhytides and wrinkles are same or they are different, sir?
There is a slight difference between them. The rhytides are very fine wrinkles, which are usually seen on the young people, which are most commonly early stage of wrinkles. We can tell that.
Yeah,
They are
correct.
very fine when compared to normal wrinkles of an old age. And
lot of disturbance is there.
I
Please mute.
request others to mute, please. Yeah. Yes, Pawan.
And Pawan, this can be used. These lasers can be used even in tattoo removing.
Yes, sir. It is commonly used for tattoo removal. Hello.
someone is a lot of disturbance is there.
ಕೇಳು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಲ್ಲ,
I don't know
ನಮ್ದು
who is-
ನಾವ್ ನೋಡು, ನಮ್ ಲೈಫ್ ನೋಡು, ನಮ್ ಖುಷಿ ನೋಡು. ನಮ್ದು ಆಯ್ತು 50 ವರ್ಷ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಗೀಲೆ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ
I don't know who is this. Sir Ramkrishna sir, anything to comment or ask, sir?
Hello. Nothing. I am just listening.
Okay.
Continue, sir, please.
Okay. Janani,
Yes, sir.
continue.
Yes, sir. So we come to the laser use in general surgical practice. So laser in perianal surgeries. For non-excisional laser therapies for hemorrhoids, we use diode laser, that is single pulse of 1470 nanometer wavelength laser is used here. And the power mentioned in joules is 8 watts and application timing is 3 seconds. There are two types of procedures here: laser hemorrhoidoplasty and hemorrhoidal laser procedure. So in laser hemorrhoidoplasty, laser fiber is introduced through the skin incision in the submucosal plane at hemorrhoidal base, and coagulation of hemorrhoidal cushions is done. And in this hemorrhoidal laser procedure, we identify the terminal branches of superior rectal artery using Doppler and coagulated by pulsed laser. Usually, laser hemorrhoidoplasty is the most commonly performed procedure. The advantages are less pain, shorter hospital stay, and good long-term outcome in terms of incontinence, anal fissure, and stenosis and recurrence. So the complications of these both procedures, like bleeding 64% in laser hemorrhoidoplasty and thrombosis 6 to 10%. So infection rate is also very less, but skin tag, the risk of skin tag is 33.3% with laser hemorrhoidoplasty. However, the success rate is not very much comparable with the currently used procedure. So almost the standard technique is 80 to 90% success rate is there. Here the success rate, that is resolution of symptom, is 60%. In 60% with laser hemorrhoidoplasty and 76% with the other procedure, with a recurrence rate of 10 to 11% at 1 year. So non-excisional laser therapies are safe and effective. However, we are not commonly used. So the long-term effect of this laser procedure is not yet well quantified in our research.
Wait, Janani. Ramkrishna
Yes,
sir has raised his hand. Sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, why is it called hemorrhoidoplasty?
Sir, we are just coagulating the hemorrhoidal cushion, sir.
It is not being excised.
Yes, sir, it is not being excised. Yes.
Hemorrhoidoplasty, sir.
Okay.
Sir, any
Sir,
experience with laser, sir? On your side, sir?
Hello.
Sir? Have you used
Yeah.
laser, sir? Are you
No,
using
we
it?
are not using.
Not
No,
using.
we are not using.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else has any personal experience? Any faculty, anyone? Noli sir also said no. I also personally don't have experience with lasers because I don't use.
This hemorrhoidoplasty term is used only in laser, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have not heard routinely this hemorrhoidoplasty term.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And probably why there is another procedure like HELP is basically what I have seen and read in the literature is earlier they just used to burn the prominent pedicles and the recurrence rates were higher. So probably what I have seen now people doing, although I don't have the personal experience, they identify using Doppler this thing, and also some people tend to ligate the pedicles, all three pedicles with the suture and then burn. So I don't know, although I don't have the personal experience of it. So the only downside which is there in the literature is higher rate of recurrence. Okay, continue,
Yes, sir.
Janani, if nobody has
Yes,
a
sir.
question.
So in laser fissurectomy, carbon dioxide laser fraction is used here. First, the fibrotic tissue and granulation tissue is removed, and edges of the fissure is laser beamed, and laser continuous mode is used here. Here we use 4 to 6 watts of power here. The application time will be 2 seconds. It is applied through the full thickness of the sphincter without disturbing its continuity. So the
So it is
advantages being,
basically sphincterotomy you're telling.
sir? Yes, sir.
Is it fissurectomy or sphincterotomy?
Fissurectomy, sir. Without disturbing the sphincter, we are applying the continuous mode laser in the fissure area.
Okay, there is
After
a
What you're
fractioning
doing to the
ages.
internal sphincter.
there is a variation of laser fissurectomy where they do laser sphincterotomy also.
Okay, sir.
So instead of cutting with the knife or scissor, they
Okay.
cut the sphincters with laser.
Yes, sir.
In that also there are multiple variations. One is a blind technique and one is from medial to lateral, from lateral to medial. That is what I've read in the literature, although I don't know.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Noli sir was asking something.
Sir?
No,
Sir?
I just wanted to ask when you're putting the laser, you will cut the internal sphincter also.
That
That's
is what,
what,
sir.
yes, sir. Sir,
So there are different types of procedures which they follow. In laser fissurectomy, they just touch the fissure base, and that is what Janani was mentioning. There is one more procedure where they do laser sphincterotomy also. In that, they cut the sphincter. And in that also, there are two techniques. One is from medial to lateral. The other one is from lateral to medial. In medial to lateral, you go in the submucosal plane and then cut the internal sphincter and go into the intersphincteric plane. In the other technique, from lateral to medial, you go in the intersphincteric space between the internal and external sphincter, cut from lateral to the medial towards the submucosal plane.
Okay.
The results of this laser sphincterotomy and fissurectomy, what she has quoted, healing 90%, recurrence 10%, and incontinence 30%, which looks
Yes,
quite high.
That
So,
is what is this thing. But
is it
those who
worth going for
propagate it,
this?
they claim it is highly successful. But we have not found the literature evidence to support those claims.
yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
our
Then
regular surgery only will have better results than this.
Correct, sir.
yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir. Actually, yes, sir.
what they propagate is it is painless. You just walk in, walk out. That is how the marketing is being done for laser procedures. I don't know. So we have to wait and watch for long term.
So can I continue, sir?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So the complications like recurrence and incontinence is higher with this laser procedures in with regard with fissurectomy. Fistula laser closure. It is the they describe it as novel sphincter saving technique. Uses radial emitting laser probe. It is drawn through the prepared fistulous tract. So it destroys the epithelial lining with minimal extraluminal tissue damage. The internal opening is later closed by advancement flap. The overall success rate is 69.7%. With the complications like incontinence less than 1%, it was quoted as per the literature.
So basically, the laser for fistulas are used for high complex fistulas. And that is what it was proposed for, where there is a danger of incontinence by damaging the sphincters.
Yes, sir.
So you basically go into the fistula tract, curate the tract from from the internal opening till the external opening, and then you introduce the laser fiber, burn the entire tract, and also then close the internal opening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So laser in varicose vein, endovenous laser ablation is the.
So before varicose veins, they are also using it for pilonidal sinus surgery also. So that is what the new thing which has come in. And again, the long-term results are not known.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So in varicose vein, we use 1470 nanometer diode lasers, which produce high wavelength, and it safely passes through the skin, and it selectively target the blood vessel. The vein disappear gradually, but the skin will be intact. The advantages like it is less invasive. It can be done under local anesthesia, low risk of infection, and it does not require any post-operative rest. The comparison of endovenous laser technique with radiofrequency ablation. So the most commonly used lasers are diode lasers and also Nd:YAG lasers here. The result of endovenous laser is better than radiofrequency ablation. When we compare the complications associated with both procedures, there is more hyperemia, edema, and the recanalation rates are higher with radiofrequency ablation. With this regard, it was quoted according to this literature as EVLA is better than radiofrequency ablation.
What about
Sir,
compared to regular varicose vein surgery?
Sir, when we compare with regular thing, this laser techniques are better, sir, because the infection rate
Better
is
with
lesser
respect
here.
to what? You can't broadly categorize that it is better.
Yes, sir.
What are when do you do regular conventional varicose vein surgery? When do you opt for EVLA? Is it best suited for all varicose veins?
I'm not sure, sir, about this.
Anybody else?
Sir, short segments of varicose veins, which are less tortuous, those are preferable in for EVL surgery.
Less tortuous. If you have a bunch of vessels, tortuous vessels, then your conventional surgery is better suited than endovenous laser surgery.
Yes.
In other aspects like recovery and infection rates, definitely endovenous laser surgery is better, and probably it has one of the long follow-up data available for endovenous laser ablation.
Yes, sir. So laser in percutaneous lithotripsy procedures. Laser lithotripsy is increasingly used nowadays. We use holmium laser, that is the gold standard for ureteroscopic procedures, and high pulse energies more than 0.5 joules can be used, and it can fragment the stones, and also pulse thulium lasers can also be used. It is an alternative to holmium lasers. We use lasers in the mechanism used here is burst laser lithotripsy. In that first burst will be more intense and the last will be least. So there will be 60% higher chances of ablation. The laser fibers can be used so that the small diameter laser fiber can be passed through the scopes, and it is very much useful for fragmenting these stones. And also ball shaped tip laser fibers can be used to avoid injury during insertion, as it has got reduced insertion force. Sir, anything with this, sir?
And also for prostates.
Yes, sir. Prostate. Yes, sir.
So along with the holmium, they use green light laser, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
So where it is found to have lesser bleeding.
Yes, sir.
And more useful in patients who have more comorbidities, and they patients who are on blood thinners. Okay, in those,
yes, sir.
but the disadvantage is the gland size has to be smaller when compared
Yes,
to your
sir.
conventional techniques.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Saurav has a question, I think.
Yes, sir.
No, sir. I just wanted to point out to Janani that thulium laser has replaced holmium in most of the lithotripsies. Even in Sagar Hospital, we are using thulium laser only, sir.
Correct.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So it has got less risk of bleeding surrounding injury. That's it.
Continue.
Yes, sir. So percutaneous transhepatic biliary laser lithotripsy. Intrahepatic biliary calculi, that is proximal to the confluence of left and right hepatic ducts, we could use percutaneous transhepatic biliary laser lithotripsy, and
Not
also
only in
for
percutaneous, in ERCP also you can use
ERCP,
for
yes, sir.
larger stones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
continue.
sir. And also refractory choledocholithiasis. We use holmium lasers and also Nd:YAG lasers. The pulse power is usually 0.25 to 2.5 kilowatts, and pulse duration 250 to 350 microseconds. The vaporizing water particles are sprayed on the calculi, and it will fragment the stone when we apply it for this much microsecond. So cholangioscope is used to visualize what is happening inside, and percutaneous cholangioscopy, it will help us in percutaneous transhepatic biliary laser lithotripsy. It can also be used along with balloon dredging and biliary stricture dilatation. So the success rate is 85 to 100%, with complications like cholangitis, biliary sepsis, liver hepatoma, biliary tree perforation, sepsis, and the recurrence rate is 14%.
Liver hematoma.
Yes, sir. Because of laser, the spatial distribution, we could injure the liver, and it can lead to hematoma, sir. Anything, sir?
Yeah.
So pancreatoscopy guided laser lithotripsy, it is the another indication in which laser is used for pancreatic stones. So pancreatoscopy with intraductal lithotripsy is used for difficult pancreatic stone, that is completely or partially obstructing stone. Here pulse dye laser is used. Success rate is 91%, and post-procedure adverse effects like pancreatitis is 8.7%. The advantage is direct visualization, so there will be lesser chances of injury to pancreatic duct. The limitation is cost and long duration of the procedure.
So main advantage is you can avoid more morbid surgeries like in chronic pancreatitis. If there is a ductal stone, this is one of the novel modalities which are being used now.
Yes, sir.
And probably it is being used in that Asian Institute in Hyderabad, where they're extensively using it.
Yes, sir. And the success rate is also high, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And other applications include the dermatological procedures like correcting the wrinkles or textural changes in skin laxity, hyperpigmentation, vascularity, excess fat accumulation, especially in neck. And also in ophthalmological procedure, like for posterior cataracts, the laser surgery is commonly preferred. Coming to laser safety, place the laser in location that do not put stress on the electrical cord. We'll have to be careful with the electrical cord, and it has to be dry and free of kinks, knots, and bends. We should inspect the laser cord before use, and we should not use if it is if we see any break or crack in the outer insulating coating. And only person who is controlling the laser beam should activate the laser. We should not activate the laser in presence of flammable agents like alcohol-based skin antiseptics. So place the laser in standby mode when we don't use it. Use laser resistant ET tube during airway. So we should place wet sponges around the ET cuff if laser is operated in close proximity to the ET. Fill the ET cuff with tin solutions like methylene blue during laser procedure involving airway or aerodigestive tract. Always keep the moist sponges or drapes around the surgical site for all laser procedures. We should verify water or saline and appropriate type of fire extinguisher available around the surgical procedure before laser use. And during perineal surgery, we should use moistened radiopaque sponges to cover or pack the anus. Use laser according to manufacturer's instruction for use. And this is the very important one. Sir, anything, sir, till this? So we should take.
Janani,
Yes, sir.
They use that ice cubes in our OT we had seen when they were giving demo. Ice
Yes,
cubes
sir.
after the application of laser, so that that spatial distribution will not happen,
Okay,
and
The
sir.
blips and
surrounding
all those
area
things
will
will
not.
not happen. Yeah,
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
that is what she means by cooling moist
Yes, sir.
pads or the ice
So,
packs or
yes,
for
sir.
the same purpose.
So the main thing is we should take care of electrical cord, and we should not keep any inflammable agents around the laser use, and we should take care of the ET tube, and we should moisten the ET tube, and also we should, as sir said, moist sponges or ice packs should be used in the laser used spaces, and fire extinguishers to be available everywhere wherever we use this laser.
Pawan is
Yes, sir.
asking any general precaution in general anesthesia patient. One question.
General precautions.
Anybody else? Anything, Pawan?
In a GA patient, we are supposed to use the lowest possible FiO2 to
Yes, sir.
Why is
avoid the
it?
flash burns. Flash burns.
Flash burns.
When-
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There is a high possibility of flash burns if you are using a high FiO2, because especially for the dermatological conditions, whenever we are using for the skin lesions, that is the most important thing.
Yes, sir.
And what are the other uses of laser other than mentioned above?
LASIK, sir. LASIK correction, myopia correction.
Hmm?
Correct.
LASIK myopia correction.
Ophthalmic surgeries.
Ophthalmic,
Excimer laser.
cataract.
LASIK, cataract, posterior cataract, and also retina.
Retina. Okay.
Retinal.
Hair
Hair
Hair-
removal for pilonidal sinus or
Not only pilonidal sinus, there are other reasons for hair removal that is also there. Tattoo removal,
Yes, sir.
and also
and
wound
also
healing
the
lasers.
For
Chronic
acne
wound.
also they're using, no, sir.
yeah. Acne, rather than the laser, the dermabrasion is far better compared to laser.
Okay, sir.
But still, the marketing people are trying us to use the laser only. And the other reasons, other users are the vascular malformations like hemangiomas, capillary malformations, venous malformations.
Okay, sir.
There, the other users of lasers are there.
Yes,
Chronic wounds, Pawan.
Chronic wounds, no, sir. It is not
but
much
will
used.
it be helpful in keloids?
Keloids, definitely nowadays they are people are using, sir. I don't have any experience about the laser in keloids.
There is. Have you? Are you aware of it? That there is one thing called LED, low intensity. This thing, laser.
No, sir, I am not aware.
LIT, where they're propagating it for use regeneration of chronic wounds.
Sir, actually, the regeneration of the wound healing and all those aspects nowadays, the cultured medias are maximally they are using. Cultured epidermal factors, all those things they are using. The laser, I am not sure, sir. I have not heard about that.
Okay, okay. I put a paper in the group.
Yes.
So extensive use of lasers in medicine. In that I was reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, for laser hair removal, I read that only black colored hair can be removed.
No. Only the dark hair
Pigmented.
people will have a good results when compared to light hair people. I don't know exactly the reason.
Melanin, I think. Is it because of that?
Probably that because the laser mainly targets the melanin as a medium. Mostly that Nd:YAG laser is the commonly used one.
Anything else, Janani?
Sir, one more I wanted to.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, actually, historical importance, sir. There is mentioned laparoscopic laser cholecystectomy.
It is like you use the laser energy.
Yeah.
So,
So
instead of mono, whatever we use the cautery,
yes.
use the laser to burn or resect.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, yes, sir. Can I continue, sir?
Yeah.
So the most common benefit that is quoted everywhere is less invasive and quick recovery, but the disadvantage being cost, availability, and the surgical training in use of lasers.
And also the long-term effects for
Mm,
laser
long-term
as of now, it is definitely useful in ophthalmic procedures, cosmetic procedures, in the percutaneous, that urological procedures, prostate, in general surgery, in perineal procedures. Long-term data is yet to be evaluated properly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the strategies for a successful laser procedure depends upon how we establish and maintain laser safety program, and evaluating all laser use and ensure safety, and perioperative education to healthcare personnel. So with this, I conclude,
And
sir. Thank you.
also probably better guidelines
Yes, sir.
in whom to use. Now what has happened is laser for all. It has become like that.
Yes, sir.
Marketing is driving the usage of laser rather than the actual scientific evidence, and also the long-term effects due to that.
Yes, sir.